We are the Changemakers. Our organization advocates for equity and justice for the Black community. Fort Wayne's Black community has been historically marginalized, disenfranchised, and oppressed. We aim to educate, train, and activate organizers, individuals, groups, and businesses to invest in interrupting racism, bigotry, and prejudice whenever encountered. My name is Alisha Roush. I'm a Fort Wayne native, a community activist, member of the NAACP, and founder of ChangeMakers. I run a Black-owned business Facebook page featuring businesses from Fort Wayne. I have 8 children in my home and love teaching them about their history, culture, activism, and politics. In my free time, I love to do graphic design.
Hello, I am Daylana Saunders. I am a revolutionary leader and activist from Chicago, Illinois, and I currently serve in Allen County, Fort Wayne. I aim to be an advocate and voice for the underserved and unheard. It is important that the people that are closest to the pain are closest to the power. Youth voter engagement, progressive advocacy, and leading uncomfortable conversations that drive us forward are my focus. What have Changemakers done this year? Changemakers formed from a conglomerate of community members that shared passion and concern after George Floyd protests caused an uprising in the city. We came together as organizers and leaders to create a sustainable movement for change in the city. Changemakers have been a link between city officials, politicians, and community members. We have addressed the uncomfortable yet important topics like police brutality and reform, budget adjustments, and the reallocation of funds. We have protested, held rallies, and more. We have been an unstoppable force in the community that has and will continue to speak truth to power. We will continue to hold elected officials accountable for what they are supposed to do. The power is with the people.
Why is voting important to us as activists? As activists, voting is important to us because we need to be able to elect public officials that are willing to hear the community's concerns and make necessary changes that address those concerns. As activists, we need to be able to have access to our public officials, and there needs to be a degree of community oversight of city boards and committees. As activists, we are a bridge between the community and public officials.
Voting is important to me because I am a Black woman. I am Breonna Taylor. I have Black brothers and a Black nephew that I am concerned about. I still have fear when I am pulled over by the police. I vote because I know that my voice matters. Voting gives Black people the opportunity to show our power and currency through numbers. When we show up, we move and affect power. I vote because my life depends on it.
Voting is important to me because it's a way for me to advocate for safe, successful, prosperous future for my children. As Black children and boys that will grow to be Black men, it's important that I speak up and speak out for their well-being. I worry that if we become complacent with the way things are, we may not never see true equality. So I make it a point to take action, especially by voting, but in other ways as well, so that we can see the future we envision where inequality is no longer an issue my children or grandchildren will have to endure.
Yes. So what is at stake this election? Life and liberty are at stake this election. In cities with a Black majority or plurality, New Orleans, Milwaukee, Chicago, Black people represent 70 to 80% of the deaths, though their percentages of the population don't come close to that. Indeed, we are dying at higher rates than other races, risking our lives more than most. Many Black Americans are deemed essential and expendable at once. And unlike some of our privileged friends, sheltering at home or with family, instead of on a remote beach house. As the old saying goes, when America gets cold, Black folks get pneumonia. Our First Amendment right is at stake. Women's rights are at stake to make decisions about our own bodies. Democracy is at stake this election.
So how are we going to deal with the aftermath? I voted because it's my right, and that has not always been the case. But no matter who wins, we, people of color, poor people, have to build. We must build people power and political power that can and will influence and keep the pressure on our elected officials on the local, state, and national levels. We must stand strong together and not allow divisive tactics and antics to turn us against each other. Black, Latino, Asian, Native American, we must stand and know that we have the power. And when we know and act on that power, we win in every scenario.
We are the change makers, and we vote because our lives, your life, and the future depends on it.